Captain Sam Collins sat alone in his quarters aboard the USS Defiant. The small metal room felt even smaller tonight. He stared at the screen showing the last moments of the diplomatic vessel USS Friendship. The recording ended the same way it had the previous 50 times he watched it, with a bright flash as Arcturian weapons tore through the unarmed ship. 3 months had passed since that day. 3 months of anger, grief, and secret preparation. Sam ran his hand through his short brown hair and sighed. He was 42 years old with 20 years in the Earth Defense Fleet. Never in those years did he imagine he would be part of humanity's first war with an alien civilization. "Captain to the bridge," a voice called over the intercom. Sam stood up, straightened his dark blue uniform, and walked quickly through the narrow hallways of the Defiant. Crew members nodded respectfully as he passed. They all knew what was coming. Thou. Bridge doors slid open. 5 people turned to look at him. Each face showed the same mix of determination and worry that Sam felt inside. "Status report," Sam said as he took his seat in the captain's chair. Diane Powell, his tactical officer, spoke first. Diane was 35 with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "All weapons systems are green, Captain. Quantum shields at full power." "Wormhole drive is ready," said Alan Garcia, the chief engineer. Alan's hands were stained with engine grease, and dark circles under his eyes showed he hadn't slept much. "It's still experimental, but it will get us there." Frank Miller, the science officer, looked up from his screens. Frank was the youngest on the bridge at 28. "I've analyzed all data we have on Arcturian defenses. They're strong, but they've never faced our technology." "Communications are secure," said Lisa Brown, adjusting her headset. Lisa was 32 and could speak 6 Earth languages. Now she was learning Arcturian. "We'll be able to listen to them, but they won't detect our signals." Sam nodded to each of them. These were the best officers Earth had to offer, chosen personally by Fleet Admiral Nancy Ward for this mission. "Put the Admiral on screen," Sam ordered. The main view screen changed to show Admiral Ward's face. She was in her 60s with gray, hair pulled back tightly and a face that rarely smiled. Today was no exception. "Captain Collins," she said, "is the Defiant ready?" "Yes, Admiral. We can leave within the hour." Admiral Ward's expression remained serious. "The United Earth government has approved your mission. The details remain top secret. As far as the public knows, we're still trying diplomatic channels with the Arcturians." Sam nodded. "They don't know about the Defiant." "No one does, except those with the highest clearance. This ship represents technology we've kept hidden for decades. Earth appears less advanced than we truly are. That's our advantage." Sam thought about the Defiant. From the outside, it looked like a standard Earth military vessel, sleek and functional. But inside was technology most humans didn't know existed. The quantum shield matrix, the wormhole drive, the energy absorption systems. All developed in secret, preparing for a day they hoped would never come. "Your orders are clear," continued Admiral Ward. "Take the Defiant to Arcturus. Show them what human technology can do. Force them to negotiate. We don't want war, but we won't be victims either." "Understood, Admiral. This isn't about revenge for the Friendship, Collins. It's about survival. Intelligence suggests the Arcturians have done this before. Destroy a species' first diplomatic vessel, then threaten their homeworld. They believe we're primitive and will surrender. Prove them wrong." The screen went dark. Sam turned to his crew. "You all heard the mission. Any questions?" No one spoke. They had prepared for this moment since the destruction of the Friendship. "Then let's begin," Sam said. Hundreds of light years away on the Arcturian homeworld, Admiral Zevnar stood before the Imperial War Council. His blue-scaled skin gleamed under the bright lights of the council chamber. "The humans pose no threat," he said confidently. "Their technology is primitive. The destruction of their diplomatic vessel was accomplished with minimal effort." The council members nodded in agreement. They had conquered 7 other species using the same tactic. None had been able to resist the Arcturian Empire. Only Intelligence Officer Kree Ta seemed concerned. She was younger than the others, her scales still bright with youth. "Admiral," she said hesitantly, "the readings from the human ship before it was destroyed showed unusual energy patterns. They may have technology we don't understand." Admiral Zevnar laughed. "Impossible. Our scans showed no weapons, no advanced shielding. They are barely space-capable." "But," Krita began. "Enough," snapped Zevnar. "Your concern is noted but unnecessary. The human homeworld will soon receive our demands for surrender. They will become the 8th species to serve the Empire." Krita fell silent, but the worry remained in her eyes. Back on the Defiant, Sam addressed his crew one final time before departure. "What we do today will change humanity's future. The Arcturians think they've seen what Earth has to offer. They're wrong." He looked at each face on the bridge. They've seen nothing yet. Alan Garcia began the wormhole drive sequence. The ship hummed as power built up around them. "Course set for the Arcturus system," Sam ordered. "We'll arrive at the edge of their space, activate cloaking, and move in undetected." "What if they detect us anyway?" asked Diane Powell. Sam's face hardened. "Then we show them exactly what happens when you attack Earth." The wormhole formed in front of the Defiant, a swirling tunnel of energy that bent space itself. Unlike normal human ships that took months to travel between stars, the Defiant would reach Arcturus in minutes. "Take us in," Sam ordered. The Defiant moved forward into the wormhole. Behind them, Earth continued its normal daily life. Most citizens had no idea that their first interstellar confrontation had begun. They didn't know about the Defiant or its mission. They didn't know that their future depended on one ship and its crew. As the Defiant entered the wormhole, Sam thought about the recording of the Friendship's destruction. He made a silent promise to its crew. "The Arcturians think they've seen what humanity has to offer," he repeated quietly. "They haven't seen anything yet." The USS Defiant emerged from the wormhole at the edge of the Arcturus system. The ship's systems hummed quietly as it immediately activated its cloaking technology. To any watching eyes, it would seem as if nothing had appeared at all. "Cloaking. Systems engaged," Diane Powell announced from her tactical station. "We're invisible to Arcturian sensors." Captain Sam Collins nodded and looked at the main view screen. Stars shone brightly against the darkness of space. In the distance, he could see the red giant star Arcturus glowing like an angry eye. "Status." "Report," Sam ordered. "Wormhole jump complete with no issues," Alan Garcia said from the engineering station. His voice held a note of pride. "The experimental drive performed perfectly. All systems functioning at optimal levels," Frank Miller added, checking his science readings. "No damage from the jump." Lisa Brown adjusted her communications equipment. "I'm picking up Arcturian transmissions already. Beginning translation." "Now." Sam stood from his captain's chair and walked to the front of the bridge. "What do we know about their defenses?" Frank brought up a display showing the Arcturus system. "The Arcturian homeworld is the 3rd planet from their sun. They have defense stations throughout the system and patrol ships on regular routes. Their main fleet is stationed near the homeworld." "How many ships are we talking about?" Sam asked. "Based on the communications I'm intercepting," Lisa said, "they have over 200 warships in their main fleet." The bridge fell silent. The Defiant was just one ship. "Remember," Sam said, seeing the worry on their faces, "we're not here to fight their entire fleet. We're here to demonstrate that humans are not the primitive species they think we are." "Captain," Lisa called out suddenly, "I've decoded some of their communications. You need to hear this." She pressed a button, and an Arcturian voice filled the bridge. The translator converted it to English. "The human homeworld will be contacted tomorrow with our demands," the voice said. "Based on previous conquests, they will likely surrender within their week. Preparation for occupation should begin immediately." "Previous conquests?" Diane asked. Lisa nodded grimly. "I'm finding references to 7 other species the Arcturians have conquered using the same method. Destroy the first diplomatic vessel, then threaten the homeworld with their fleet." "And they all surrendered?" Sam asked. According to these records, yes, Lisa replied. None of them had technology advanced enough to fight back. Sam's jaw tightened. Well, they haven't met humans yet. He turned to Frank. I want to know everything about these 7 conquered species. Maybe we can help them too. Frank nodded and began working on his console. Set course for Arcturus Prime, Sam ordered. Keep us cloaked and maintain distance from any patrol ships. The Defiant moved deeper into the Arcturian system, invisible to all sensors. As they traveled, Frank gathered information about the conquered species, the peaceful Zentari, the artistic Plovians, the scientific Durans, and others. All had been forced into service to the Arcturian Empire. In the engine room, Alan Garcia worked tirelessly on the quantum shield matrix. The experimental system could absorb energy weapons and redirect them, but it had never been tested in actual combat. The shields will hold, he told Sam during a brief meeting. But I can't guarantee for how long if they hit us with everything they have. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Sam replied. After 2 days of careful movement through Arcturian space, the Defiant approached Arcturus Prime. The planet glowed blue-green on the view screen, surrounded by orbital stations and warships. Their fleet is massive, Diane whispered. Sam studied the Arcturian ships. They were large and heavily armed, designed to intimidate. Size isn't everything, he said. Their technology is more advanced than what Earth publicly shows, but not more advanced than what we really have. Suddenly, alarms blinked on Diane's console. Patrol ship approaching, she warned. It's on a direct course toward us. How? Sam demanded. We're cloaked. Frank quickly checked his readings. They haven't detected us specifically. They're doing a routine patrol, but they're going to pass within 100 meters of our position. Hold position, Sam ordered. All systems to minimum power. The bridge crew watched tensely as the Arcturian patrol ship grew larger on their screen. It was smaller than the Defiant, but still heavily armed. If it detected them, the element of surprise would be lost. As the alien ship passed by, its sensors swept the area. For a moment, its light seemed to focus directly on the Defiant. They've picked up something, Frank said urgently. They're slowing down. Lisa listened to her headset. They're reporting a sensor anomaly but can't identify what it is. Weapons. On standby, Sam said quietly to Diane. Don't fire unless I give the order. The patrol ship hovered nearby, its sensors scanning repeatedly. The Defiant's crew barely breathed. After what seemed like hours but was only minutes, the patrol ship resumed its course. They're moving away, Frank reported. They've logged it as a sensor malfunction. Everyone on the bridge relaxed slightly. That was too close, Diane said. We're ghosts, Sam replied with a small smile. Let's keep it that way until the moment is right. The Defiant continued toward Arcturus Prime, gathering intelligence as it went. Lisa intercepted a particularly interesting transmission late that night. Captain, she called Sam, who had been resting in his quarters. The Arcturians are planning a centennial fleet review in 2 days. Every ship in their fleet will gather around Arcturus Prime for a ceremonial display. The Emperor and all high-ranking officials will be present. Sam considered this information. The perfect opportunity to make our point, he said finally. With their entire leadership present, they won't be able to hide what happens. He called the senior crew to the bridge for a meeting. Once everyone had gathered, he explained his plan. We'll remain cloaked until the fleet review begins. When all their ships are in formation, we'll decloak right in the middle of them. We'll broadcast our message, demonstrate our technology, and then leave before they can mount a coordinated attack. That's incredibly risky, Diane pointed out. We'll be surrounded. Yes, Sam agreed. But they'll be in ceremonial formation, not battle formation. Their weapons won't be powered up initially. We'll have a few minutes advantage. And if they attack? Alan asked. Then we show them what the quantum shields can do, Sam answered. We absorb their energy weapons and redirect enough power to disable a few ships. Not to destroy them, just to make our point. The crew discussed the details, refining the plan until everyone understood their role. As the Arcturian fleet review approached, the Defiant moved into position, still cloaked. They watched as hundreds of Arcturian warships formed a massive display around the planet. At the center was the Emperor's platform, where Arcturian leaders gathered to view the spectacle. "It's time," Sam said as the ceremony began. "Ready all. Systems." He stood in the center of the bridge, his voice calm and determined. "Remember, we're not here for revenge. We're here to prevent a war." The grand Arcturian fleet review filled the space around Arcturus Prime. 200 warships arranged in perfect formations shined in the light of the red giant star. The ships varied in size, but all displayed the same aggressive design that had struck fear into 7 alien civilizations. On the central platform floating above the planet's surface, Emperor Zalvin stood tall, his blue scales gleaming with decorative jewels. Beside him, Admiral Zevnar watched with pride as the fleet demonstrated its power. "Magnificent, isn't it?" the Admiral said. "No force in this part of the galaxy can stand against us." The Emperor nodded. "When will the human world receive our demands?" "The message was sent yesterday," Zevnar replied. "They should be panicking by now." Unknown to the Arcturians, the USS Defiant floated silently in the middle of their formation, still cloaked and invisible. Inside the ship, Captain Sam Collins watched the ceremony through the main view screen. "All systems ready, Captain," Diane Powell reported from Tactical. "Quantum shields at full power. Communications ready to broadcast on all Arcturian frequencies," Lisa Brown added. Sam took a deep breath. What they were about to do would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. There would be no going back. "On my mark," he said calmly. 3, 2, 1, decloak. In the middle of the Arcturian formation, the Defiant suddenly appeared. Its sleek hull gleamed with technology the Arcturians had never seen before. The appearance of a ship from nowhere caused immediate confusion throughout the Arcturian fleet. On the Emperor's platform, alarms sounded. Guards rushed to protect the Emperor while Admiral Zevnar stared in shock at the human vessel. "Impossible," he shouted. "How did they get past our defenses?" Intelligence Officer Krita, who had been watching from the side, stepped forward. "It appears they have cloaking technology, Admiral. Just as I warned might be possible." Before Zevnar could respond, the human ship began broadcasting. The message played on every screen and speaker throughout the Arcturian fleet and on the central platform. "This is Captain Sam Collins of the Earth vessel Defiant." Sam's voice rang out clearly. "We come in response to your unprovoked attack on our diplomatic ship. We offer one chance for peaceful relations between our worlds." On the bridge of the Defiant, Sam stood tall as he delivered his message. He knew what would happen next. "Arcturian ships are powering weapons," Diane reported. "They're targeting us from all directions." "Hold position," Sam ordered. "Shields at maximum." Admiral Zevnar gave the command to fire. "Destroy that human vessel. Show them the power of the Empire." Energy weapons from 20 Arcturian ships fired simultaneously at the Defiant. Beams of destructive force struck the human vessel from all sides. The Arcturians expected to see the ship explode into fragments. Instead, something extraordinary happened. The Defiant's quantum shields absorbed every blast. The hull began to glow brighter with each hit, as the shield stored the energy rather than being damaged by it. On the Emperor's platform, silence fell as they watched in disbelief. "What is happening?" Emperor Zalvin demanded. "Why isn't it destroyed?" Admiral Zevnar had no answer. He had never seen anything like this before. Inside, the Defiant, the crew worked calmly despite being under attack from all sides. The ship shook slightly, but the shields held. "Shield status?" Sam asked. "Shields at 92% and holding," Alan Garcia reported from engineering. "The absorption matrix is working perfectly. We're storing their energy just as designed." "All that. Power has to go somewhere," Diane said. "Ready to redistribute on your command." Sam nodded. "Let them fire a bit longer. Let them see that their weapons can't harm us." For 2 full minutes, the Arcturian ships continued their attack. The Defiant's hull glowed brighter and brighter as it absorbed more energy, but showed no signs of damage. Finally, Sam gave the order. "Now, Officer Powell, redistribution pattern Alpha." Diane activated the shield redistribution system. The energy that had been absorbed was carefully controlled and redirected outward in a precise pattern. 20 Arcturian ships suddenly found their weapons and engines disabled as their own energy was used against them. The attacking ships went dark, floating helplessly in space. They weren't destroyed, just powerless. In the sudden silence, Sam broadcast again. "That was a demonstration. We could have destroyed your ships with your own energy. Instead, we offer terms for peaceful coexistence between our peoples." On the Emperor's platform, chaos erupted. Guards surrounded Zalvin while military advisors shouted conflicting advice. Admiral Zevnar stood frozen, unable to comprehend what he had just witnessed. Only Intelligence Officer Krita remained calm. She stepped forward and addressed the Emperor directly. "Your Highness, I believe we should listen to what they have to say." The Emperor looked at the human ship on the view screen. It still glowed with absorbed energy, ready to release more if attacked again. "Open a channel to the human vessel," he ordered finally. Lisa picked up the incoming transmission. "Captain, the Emperor is responding." "Put him on screen," Sam said. Yow. Face of Emperor Zalvin appeared on the Defiant's main screen. His jeweled scales reflected light as he spoke. "I am Emperor Zalvin of the Arcturian Empire. You have our attention, human." Sam stood straight as he addressed the alien ruler. "We know you've conquered 7 other species by destroying their diplomatic vessels and threatening their homeworlds. You tried the same with Earth. That was a mistake. Your technology is unexpected," the Emperor admitted reluctantly. "Earth has kept many advances secret," Sam replied. "What you see today is just one ship. We have others." This was a calculated bluff. The Defiant was Earth's only advanced vessel, but the Arcturians had no way of knowing that. "What are your terms?" the Emperor asked. "First, immediate peace between our worlds. Second, freedom for the 7 species you've conquered. Third, open diplomatic relations with all races in this sector." Admiral Zevnar found his voice at last. "This is outrageous! One ship cannot dictate terms to the Empire." Sam ignored him and kept his eyes on the Emperor. "This one ship just disabled 20 of yours without damage. We could continue if necessary." The Emperor raised a hand to silence his admiral. "We will need time to consider these terms." "You have 1 Earth hour," Sam replied firmly. "After that, we will demonstrate more of our capabilities." The screen went dark as the Emperor ended the transmission. On the bridge of the Defiant, the crew exchanged nervous glances. "Do you think they'll agree?" Lisa asked. "They're scared," Sam said. "Fear can lead to either surrender or desperate action. We need to be ready for both." Frank Miller looked up from his science station. "Captain, I'm detecting movement from the undamaged Arcturian ships. They're regrouping into attack formation." "They're going to try again," Diane said. Sam nodded grimly. "Let them come. Our hour isn't up yet." Emperor Zalvin paced across the command platform, his jeweled scales clicking with each step. Around him, his advisors argued loudly. Some wanted immediate all-out attack on the human vessel. Others urged caution after seeing what the Defiant could do. "Silence!" the Emperor shouted finally. The room fell quiet. He turned to Admiral Zevnar. "You assured me these humans were primitive. That vessel absorbed energy from 200 ships without damage." Admiral Zevnar's scales had lost their usual bright color. "It's impossible technology, Your Highness. We've never encountered anything like it." The Emperor then looked at Intelligence Officer Krita. Once ignored, she was now the center of attention. "You warned about unusual readings from their diplomatic vessel," the Emperor said. "Explain." Krita stepped forward, her young scales shimmering nervously. "The readings suggested advanced shielding technology. I believe we have gravely underestimated the humans. They appear to have developed along a different technological path than our own." "Different how?" asked the Emperor. "Our technology focuses on energy projection, weapons that push outward with force," Krita explained. "Their shields seem designed to absorb and redirect energy instead. It's an approach we never considered." The Emperor looked at the view screen showing the Defiant. The human ship still glowed faintly from the absorbed energy of the previous attack. Around it, 20 Arcturian ships floated powerless. "Can we defeat this vessel?" the Emperor asked. Admiral Zevnar found his courage again. "Of course, Your Highness. We have over 180 ships still operational. If we attack all at once and lose more ships," Krita interrupted, "the more energy we fire at them, the more they can use against us." The War Council erupted into argument. Again, some officers demanded immediate attack to save the Empire's reputation. Others, seeing the Defiant's capabilities, advised accepting the human terms. Meanwhile, aboard the Defiant, the crew monitored the Arcturian communications. "They're divided," Lisa reported as she translated their conversations. "Half want to attack with everything they have. Half want to accept our terms." Sam nodded. He had expected this reaction. "What about their fleet movements?" Diane checked the tactical display. "The remaining ships have formed a sphere around us. They're in position to attack from all directions simultaneously." "Shield status?" Sam asked, turning to Alan. The engineer's face showed concern. "The quantum shields performed perfectly in the first exchange, but they have limits, Captain. We can absorb a lot of energy, but not indefinitely. If they throw their entire fleet at us at once, we might absorb the first wave, but not much more." Knew they were in a precarious position. The Defiant had made its point, but it was still one ship against hundreds. If the Arcturians decided to sacrifice a large portion of their fleet, they might eventually overwhelm the Defiant's systems. "We need to convince them that fighting isn't worth the cost," Sam said. "Lisa, prepare a private transmission to Admiral Zevnar. Frank, I need digital imagery from Earth's shipyards." Frank looked confused. "Sir?" "Create images showing dozens of vessels similar to the Defiant under construction," Sam explained. "Make it convincing." Frank understood immediately. "A bluff. I'll get right on it, sir." While Frank worked, the bridge crew continued monitoring the Arcturian fleet. The disabled ships had been towed away from the main formation, but the rest maintained their threatening positions around the Defiant. 10 minutes later, Frank had completed the fabricated images. They showed Earth's orbital shipyards with at least 30 vessels similar to the Defiant in various stages of construction. "Perfect," Sam said, reviewing the images. "Lisa, send these directly to Admiral Zevnar along with a message. This is why we've kept our technology secret. We prefer peace, but we are prepared for the alternative." Lisa sent the transmission. Minutes passed in tense silence. "They've received our message," Lisa reported. "It's being shared with the Emperor now." On the Arcturian command platform, Admiral Zevnar showed the images to Emperor Zalvin. The Emperor's eyes widened at the sight of what appeared to be a fleet of vessels that could each neutralize Arcturian weapons. "If these images are accurate," the Admiral said reluctantly, "we cannot win this fight without catastrophic losses." Intelligence Officer Krita studied the images carefully. Something about them seemed too perfect, too convenient, but she kept her suspicions to herself. Peace would benefit everyone regardless of whether the humans had one advanced ship or 30. "Your Highness," she said instead, "consider the 7 worlds we've conquered. Each surrendered because they could not match our technology. Now we face the same choice they did." The Emperor looked at his advisors, at the disabled ships on the screen, and at the images of the supposed human fleet. After long consideration, he nodded slowly. "Open a channel to the human vessel," he ordered. Back on the Defiant, Lisa announced, "Incoming transmission from the Emperor." Sam straightened his uniform and nodded. On screen, Emperor Zalvin appeared again. His posture was less arrogant than before. "Captain Collins, we have reviewed your terms. The Arcturian Empire is willing to discuss peace between our worlds." Sam kept his expression neutral, hiding his relief. "And the 7 conquered species?" The Emperor hesitated before answering. "Granting complete independence would destabilize this sector. However, we could establish a council where all species have representation." It wasn't everything Sam had demanded, but it was a start. "That would be acceptable as a first step. We will need to establish formal diplomatic relations to work out the details." "Agreed," the Emperor said. "We will recall our ships heading toward your solar system. No action will be taken against Earth. A wise decision, Sam replied. Earth will send proper diplomatic representatives within the month. Until then, the Defiant will remain in Arcturian space as a guarantee of our mutual agreement. After the transmission ended, the crew of the Defiant finally relaxed. Diane powered down the weapon systems. Lisa removed her translation headset. Frank shut down the tactical displays. Did we just change galactic politics with one ship and some fake pictures? Alan asked, amazed. Sam smiled slightly. Sometimes the appearance of strength is more important than actual strength. The Arcturians built their empire on intimidation. They needed to experience it from the other side. What happens when they learn we only have one advanced ship? Diane asked. By then it won't matter, Sam replied. Once diplomatic relations are established and the Council for the Conquered species is functioning, they'll have too much to lose by restarting hostilities. Frank looked thoughtful. The freed species will be grateful to humans. We'll have allies throughout this sector. Exactly, Sam said. Earth just gained 7 friends and convinced the biggest bully in the neighborhood to behave. Not bad for our first real venture into galactic politics. The Arcturian fleet gradually dispersed, returning to normal patrol patterns. Only a small honor guard remained near the Defiant, officially as escorts but really to keep watch on the mysterious human vessel. In her private office, Intelligence Officer Kree-Ta studied the human ship through her personal viewer. She still suspected the truth about Earth's fleet but kept her thoughts to herself. Perhaps these humans would bring positive change to a sector long dominated by Arcturian aggression. One ship, she whispered to herself. One ship that changed everything. 3 months after the Defiant's appearance in Arcturian space, Captain Sam Collins stood in Earth's Geneva complex beside Fleet Admiral Nancy Ward. They watched as representatives from the Arcturian Empire signed the Arcturus Terra Non-Aggression Pact. The blue-scaled aliens looked uncomfortable in Earth's gravity but were determined to complete the ceremony. The large meeting hall was filled with officials from Earth governments and media from around the world. For most humans, this was their first time seeing aliens in person. The destruction of the USS Friendship had been kept secret from the public until now. You did well, Collins, Admiral Ward said quietly. One ship, no shots fired, and we've established ourselves as a significant power in galactic politics virtually overnight. Sam nodded. The quantum shield worked even better than expected. Engineering is already making improvements based on what we learned. And the Arcturians never discovered that the Defiant is our only advanced vessel? No, Sam replied. They still believe we have a fleet of similar ships. Our bluff worked perfectly. On the other side of the room, Intelligence Officer Kree-Ta, now promoted to diplomatic liaison, watched the humans with keen interest. During the 3 months of negotiations, she had studied Earth culture and history extensively. What she discovered both impressed and concerned her. Humans had a unique approach to technology, often developing in unexpected directions. While most species followed predictable technological paths, humans sometimes made surprising leaps. The quantum shield was just one example, a defensive system that turned an enemy's strength against them. Kree-Ta suspected that the humans had bluffed about having multiple advanced ships, but she kept this insight to herself. Peace benefited everyone, and the Arcturian Empire had grown complacent with its easy conquests. This challenge from Earth might ultimately strengthen her people by forcing them to innovate rather than intimidate. After the signing ceremony, Sam approached Kree-Ta. They had worked together during the negotiations and developed a cautious respect for each other. Diplomatic liaison, Sam greeted her formally. I hope this marks the beginning of a long and peaceful relationship between our peoples. Kree-Ta's scales shifted in the Arcturian equivalent of a smile. Indeed, Captain Collins, though I must admit your approach to first contact was rather unconventional. Sometimes unconventional methods get the best results, Sam replied. True, Kree-Ta said. She lowered her voice. Especially when one ship must appear to be a fleet. Sam's expression remained neutral, but his pulse quickened. Did she know? I don't know what you mean, he said carefully. Krita made a dismissive gesture. No need for continued deception, Captain. Your secret is safe. Peace serves both our interests, regardless of how many advanced ships Earth actually possesses. Before Sam could respond, they were interrupted by Admiral Ward calling for his attention. With a respectful nod to Krita, Sam rejoined his superior officer. What did the Arcturian want? Ward asked. I think she knows about our bluff, Sam admitted. But she doesn't seem inclined to reveal it. Ward frowned. Can we trust her? I believe so. She was the one who initially warned about unusual readings from the Friendship. Her superiors ignored her. I think she's more interested in truth than in Empire propaganda. 1 week later, the Defiant orbited Earth, its mission complete. In the engine room, Alan Garcia supervised the integration of some Arcturian technology that had been offered as part of the diplomatic exchange. Their faster-than-light communications will pair nicely with our wormhole drive, he told Sam during an inspection tour. And they'll never know we only had one ship that could stand against them. Sam looked around at the advanced systems that had saved Earth from potential subjugation. Sometimes the appearance of strength is enough if you demonstrate it at exactly the right moment. In the following years, humanity became known throughout the galaxy not as conquerors, but as mediators and peacekeepers. The Council of Species, established by the Arcturus Terra Pact, became a model for interstellar cooperation. The 7 formerly subjugated species gained increasing autonomy, eventually achieving full independence with Earth's support. The myth of the human battleship fleet spread across the stars, deterring other aggressive empires from conflict with Earth or its allies. No one was certain exactly how many advanced ships humans possessed, and Earth encouraged this uncertainty. The truth about the Defiant remained one of humanity's most closely guarded secrets. 5 years after the confrontation at Arcturus, Sam Collins, now an admiral himself, stood on the observation deck of the new USS Alliance. It was the second ship built with quantum shield technology, finally making the story of Earth's fleet partially true. Admiral Ward, now approaching retirement, joined him at the viewport. Beautiful ship, she said, and we have 4 more under construction. Better late than never, Sam replied with a smile, though we won't need as many as we once pretended to have. No, Ward agreed. Our reputation does most of the work for us now. The Arcturians still believe we had 30 ships ready 5 years ago. Sam looked out at the stars. Earth vessels now traveled freely through systems that had once been closed to them. Human diplomats were welcome throughout the sector. What had begun as a desperate bluff had transformed humanity's place in the galaxy. You know what the strangest part is? Sam said. The Defiant never fired a single weapon. We changed the course of galactic politics without destroying anything. The best victories are the ones where no one needs to fire a shot, Ward replied. Just show up with the right ship at the right time, and change the course of galactic history, Sam finished. On Arcturus Prime, Krita, now a senior advisor to the Emperor, reviewed reports of human diplomatic activities throughout the sector. She smiled to herself, thinking of that first encounter with the Defiant. The humans had been clever, turning weakness into strength through misdirection and bold action. The Arcturian Empire had changed too. No longer expanding through conquest, it now competed through trade and technology. The humans had taught them a valuable lesson about underestimating potential rivals. Krita had never revealed her suspicions about Earth's fleet. Some secrets, she believed, served peace better than truth. And in this case, one remarkable ship had accomplished what armies could not, bringing stability to a turbulent sector of the galaxy. One ship that changed everything, she whispered to herself, repeating the words she had said years ago. Perhaps the most important ship in galactic history. Across the stars, the legend of the human battleship continued to grow, ensuring peace through its very existence. The truth behind the legend remained known to only a few, who understood that sometimes the right story, told at the right moment, could be more powerful than any weapon. The end.